Hello, Hero Collectors here. How's it going, everybody? Hope y'all are doing fantastic. I know I am, and today we're going to be cracking open this Dark Wolverine figure from the Marvel Legends comic book wave. I've got not one, but two of this figure, just because if you've been on the channel long enough, you know I'm a Wolverine fan, and I don't know if I've actually really talked about it, but Dark Wolverine was one of my first Marvel Legends, and one that I've been really wanting an upgrade for. So I got two on a whim because I want to have the different display options on the shelf and in the collection, and I'm hoping if, trying to contribute to buying them, hopefully maybe the sales will prove that we need more of Akihiro, aka Dark Wolverine. Yes, he is called Deken. I'm not going to call him that. I'm going to either call him Dark Wolverine or Akihiro. So yeah, let's go ahead and crack this guy open. I'm going to do some comparisons, we're going to do some swaps, and we're going to pose him around and just talk about some of the decisions made with this figure. So let's get him out of the packaging. And I have dropped his mini comic. So actually, before we go any further, let me just kind of focus in on this. And, depending on how you feel about this gimmick, you can like it, you don't have to like it, but it is something that they are trying. I definitely would prefer a Build-A-Figure piece, but I get that they're trying to do something different and connect all these figures together. What I'm going to be doing with my comics that I get from these figures is put them with one of my Deadpools and just kind of have him reading about the Marvel Universe. They're not something I'm going to be displaying with the figures that they come with, but it's a fun accessory. Getting back to the figure, here he is in the tray, and let's go ahead and get the pieces out for him. And I might go on a mini rant, but we'll just kind of get into the figure first before I decide to do that. His unmasked head here. Let's get... Oh, come on. There. Okay. So there he is out of the tray. And just initial impressions, I am loving how he looks. This is a character that I know isn't like the most beloved character in comics or even connected to Wolverine, but he's one of those characters that I kind of like, what's the word? I'm like kind of shepherd or like want them to do more cool things with. Like currently he is the Wolverine, and I think that's a really cool status quo for him. And I just want to see more cool things done with this character. Mostly just because I'm a Wolverine fan, and I want to make sure all his children are okay. I don't know. Let's see. Okay, he's got some flakies here. You can see the tattoo on his arm. And I'm just kind of testing out the articulation here. It looks to be just the Sunfire. It wants to act like he has boot swivel. Like there's even a gap when I go to bend the knee a little bit on this side too, but there is no boot swivel, which is annoying because they've started to take away boot swivel for Wolverine figures, it seems. But just kind of getting the articulation broken in. Before we go any further, let's do the first comparison that I have for this figure. Just want to get him standing vanilla here. So the first comparison is, of course, the original Dark Wolverine from the Return to Marvel Legends. I want to say it was the Arnim Zola Build-A-Figure wave. And yeah, this was one of the first 5 Marvel Legends I ever had for my collection. It's this guy, the blue Danny Ketch Ghost Rider, and Bucky Cap, and along with the movie Amazing Spider-Man 2012 figure and the Lizard from that same line. See, the belt's actually kind of worn. I didn't realize that, but yeah. Older body mold. The claws were always kind of warped, and yeah, he's got the ball-jointed hips. Not the best figure. I didn't even get the variant that had the alternate head. I'm never going to sell this figure just because it's part of my history in terms of collecting, but this is the one that will be replacing him in the Dark Avengers display. So let's actually just kind of swap the head, because I want to see how he looks unmasked, and not looking too bad. Now, I know a lot of people are upset about these claws, how they are a shiny material. Yeah, it's not ideal, especially since, you know, his Dark Wolverine's claws are bone, but also, depending on the artist, the colorist, they weren't always a bone color. In fact, his first couple appearances, they were black, and it was weird. Then, you know, it was bone. This middle claws, technically, it like has part of a sword embedded in it. And now, you know, currently he's a Ghost Rider, so he has fire claws. So, I mean, he has changed and evolved. I don't love that they're silver. I would have preferred a more bone color, but I don't hate it either. I'm just, in general, I'm just happy that we have this figure now as an update, because I've been using this one since about 2012, and while I'm still happy to have it, this one is so much better and better represents the character for my collection. So, getting into something that does kind of make me want to rant. These are the only alternate hands. I would have liked to have a set of these as well. You know, we've got a set of the 3 claws. I would have liked to have had a set of the 2 claws, because, yeah, he doesn't always extend the 3rd claw. I would have also preferred a set of fists, because he doesn't always have the claws popped, and I would have liked a relaxed kind of version. But I do like this this grip hand, because, yeah, it's meant for the comic or whatever. He's supposed to hold it on the display. But what I am going to use one of the figures for is to hold the Muramasa blade. So let's actually pop this hand and just have him grip it like so. I'm not going to get into a crazy pose right now, but yeah. He's going to be on the display, or on one of my shelves, just with the Muramasa blade, ready to hack up his dad and show him who's boss, I guess. I don't know. But eventually I will have one of these Dark Wolverines for my Wolverine shelf, and the other one will go with my Dark Avengers. I do hope they make, let's see, his solo run black costume, because I would put that probably on my Wolverine shelf, as long as they make his kind of shirtless look where he first appeared, because that one would go on my villain shelf. And then I'd like a dark X-Men costume just for fun. But getting into another comparison / swap, let's bring in Fang, because he has actually adopted this identity in recent times. So let's actually pop this on here and see if maybe the claw hands would fit. I mean, I'm sure they do fit, but is the brown difference going to be too distracting for me? That's going to be the thing. Because it's definitely, yeah, a very, very noticeable difference. And actually, let's take these off just for a minute, because he only has, I believe it's the necklace up on the neck. Ugh. So I just want to get a little bit closer to how he looks. Okay. It's not perfect, I don't think. Yeah, definitely not perfect. But I might be able to be okay with this on the display if I just swap it and have him on my X-Men display like this. Yeah, I kind of like it. On camera, it's coming off a bit like worse than this. In hand, it doesn't look as bad. I mean, it's still very noticeable. Like, this is definitely a brown. This is definitely more of like a tan. But I don't know. For me, it's not like it's blue and red. You know, it's similar enough to where I could say, okay, yeah, this might work on the display. So I think I'm definitely still going to do this kit bash. I need to get another Fang, because between the 2 Dark Wolverines I have here, I'll be able to use the different accessories between the 2 to make both this Fang and have the other 2 on display with the different accessories. So actually, let's pull these off to the side. And let's pop this back on. Okay, that grip hand's not as tight as I was hoping. So let's actually just kind of bring these 2 in. Height difference is there's a little bit of a height difference just looking at the shoulders, but I think it's close enough to be alright for a display. Bringing in some family. Of course, we have the Astonishing Wolverine, my favorite Wolverine in my collection, and then we have Laura here as Wolverine, Dark Wolverine's sister. So, have it like this. This kind of a Krakoa. Actually, it'd be better if I brought in the House of X Wolverine. This is kind of your Krakoa look. So if you want to have this trio together on the shelf. And yes, it is accurate that, Akihiro here is much taller than his dad. I don't know about this height difference. I'm sure it's accurate because he is rather tall. But yeah, I actually really like this. I'm definitely going to follow through with this kit bash and have a version like this on the display. But bringing back in the Dark Wolverine here in the browns. I think the brown, like this brown, not the tan, is a little faded in a way, but it's not terrible. Let's bring Wolverine back in here. I suppose I should have grabbed the X-Force Laura to do a comparison, but tell you what, when the 2-pack with Warpath comes in, I will do a comparison with these 2, because while I don't think they met while he was on the Dark Avengers, it was definitely during the time when she was still X-23 and in the X-Force look. So when we get that updated figure, I will do that comparison. Or maybe I'll take pictures of them together, and you'll see that eventually in a review with this guy. But just to do one last comparison, I decided not to pull all of the Dark Avengers down from my display, but I do have Dark Miss Marvel on my shelf, or on my desk, and these 2 are on the same team, so I figured do a pairing like this. Maybe I'll do both of these together in a review, and that way the other comic figures in this wave can be paired up, because I don't plan to get Rom. I have Miles, Banshee, Adam Warlock's on the way, and I'll eventually get Iron Man, so maybe I'll pair them up in reviews, and these 2 will be paired up. But yeah, it's pretty cool. Alright, to kind of close out this video, I decided to display, or pose up here, the 3 ways I will be displaying the figure or the character in my collection. So yeah, I got a second one because on a whim I decided, okay, I want one just to hold the Muramasa blade for a Wolverine shelf eventually. Of course, I got to have one for the Dark Avengers, and because I got the 2, the accessories would go to a Fang kit bash. So yeah, I need to get a second Fang. In fact, I need to get a third Fang as well, just so I can make his Wolverine costume as well, but I also need to get another Wolverine in order to do that. So next step is to get another Fang body so I can do this permanently for my collection. But yeah, this figure, these 2 figures as it is pretty great. Is it perfect? No, absolutely not. But as somebody who is a huge Wolverine fan, who loves to collect the characters and the family from Wolverine, the fact that we got this upgrade of one of my first Marvel Legends, just to bring him back in here for a second. I mean, look at him. Yeah, yikes. A 13-year-old figure, I think. To finally get an upgrade of a character and costume that I've been wanting for a while now is fantastic. It's probably going to be one of my figures of the year, just for the simple fact of we got it this year, and just my connection to the character. So I'm going to quit rambling. I hope you all enjoyed this video and hope you found it informative in terms of potential costumes, to do for the shelf or display options, and just me talking about what I would like to see more from this character in terms of action figure releases in the future. But yeah, if you enjoyed, make sure you leave a like. I've got more unboxing videos on the way. While you're down there, make sure you comment and are subscribed so you can see everything that I'm working on. And with all that out of the way, I will talk to you all in another video, another post, another time.